your ex up.
Hey everybody, how's it going today, guys and gals? So what exactly is Total War Warhammer 2? Total War Warhammer 2 is the latest installment of the Total War series and their second fantasy-based game of the series. Now, the majority of Total War games have been historically based, that's why I specifically say that. They have only made 2 fantasy-based games. Now, there have been mods made and stuff like that based in fantasy, but Total War, created some themselves, is their only second attempt at a fantasy-based side of their series. Now, Total Warhammer 2 is based, of course, within the Warhammer universe. Now, with that, you get 4 factions that you play as. You play as Skaven, High Elves, Dark Elves, and the Lizardmen, of course. Each of those factions have their own unique playstyle. Such as the Skaven are focused on more ambushing, using the vast number of units, the weak infantry units, to pretty much hold the enemy units within that area and use either missile units, magic, or artillery in some fashion to break the units and win the battle. Whereas, like Lizardmen, you are based more on their infantry units and beasts to win the battle. Now, same thing with Dark Elves and High Elves, there you have their own unique playstyle as well. With that, and I do enjoy that. Now, Skaven can become a little bit annoying, especially if you're playing them against AI, because you'll have ambush after ambush after ambush and multiple armies at one time. You're just, as you're trying to take them out, and it can get a little frustrating, but it is playing to their strength, which I do like to see. A lot of times when it comes to Total War, the AI is not always very good, doesn't focus on certain things or the certain strengths of the factions or units and stuff like that. In Warhammer 2, it does seem like they're trying to, or at least they do, which I do enjoy. Now, one other unique thing about Total War Warhammer 2 is the fact that it has a main objective of the game, which is taking control of the Vortex, the Great Vortex, which within the Warhammer lore is what helps keep chaos at bay within Lustria and in their world, in what's considered, I believe, the New World, if I'm wrong about that. And those of you who know more about Warhammer lore, let me know in the comment section, please, because I would love to learn more. But anyways, the main objective is to take control of the Vortex to either keep it going or to disrupt it, such as the Skaven and the Dark Elves are looking more to disrupt and either just take control of it and use it to gain power or destroy the Vortex. Or in Skaven's case, I believe, try and summon their god, if I remember correctly. Now, Lizardmen and the High Elves are more into trying to keep it going, keep it alive, so they can keep chaos and the demons at bay and not coming back into their world. Which, I love the fact that there is a main objective for this game. I do not believe any other Total War game in the franchise has had a set main objective. The majority of times, you can take control of a faction or empire and try and take over everything else. You can try and dominate the world, take certain factions all together, because there are little mini objectives, but it's not a set objective with set times, which is unique in my opinion with Total War Warhammer 2. Also with Warhammer 2, which it wasn't even in Warhammer 1, if I remember correctly, is the fact of rites or rituals. That little rituals here and there that you do get after gaining a certain amount of, let's say for Dark Elves, Dark Essence. I believe for Lizardmen, it is their prophecy, certain things with their prophecy and everything. And pretty much you gain that to also take control of the Vortex and do rituals for the Vortex, but also little rites to buff your armies, to gain extra gold at certain points of times, and stuff like that for a certain amount of turns. Such as for Dark Elves, you have a right that will instantly spawn a pretty much floating city. Okay, it's pretty much a floating city. You can build up as if it's a regular settlement, build armies, and all of that. Now, one thing about these ships is when you are recruiting and building up, you cannot move them. That's something I actually had to learn. I knew nothing about it. I was trying to figure out for a while why the hell the ship wouldn't move, and then I realized it was just changing the stance. But it is something that is unique to Warhammer 2, which I personally enjoy. It does add a little more in depth within that side of the lore of those more ancient empires. Also, another thing that's unique with Warhammer 2 is the fact of artifacts, of sunken ships and treasures you can find out on the sea and the ocean, and in other settlements that have just degraded and been destroyed over time or over battles. Also, with that, one thing about Skaven is you can go to one of those settlements that seems just to be completely deserted and destroyed to either look for artifact or rebuild that city, but come to find out the Skavens actually took control of that area because they can hide their settlements underground. It won't technically be underground, but you won't notice it's there. It is considered as a underground settlement, which out of nowhere, of course, you'll be ambushed by Skaven if you don't send out a scout there first. If you do, you can see that their settlement is there. But anyways, Total Warhammer 2 is probably, of the two of them, the best one by far. And this is going to be a trilogy. I cannot wait to see what the third one comes out with. One good thing that I have improved on in Warhammer 2 is when you're in battle, Warhammer 1 kind of seemed arcadey. When the units clashed, it didn't seem to really clash. The movements were kind of weird and janky. The cavalry really didn't charge into other units very well. Whereas Warhammer 2, you see that clash. The movements seem a little bit better. The designs are better. When the cavalry runs into a unit on the flank, it tears through the units, especially if they're more low-ranking units. Whereas Warhammer 1, that just did not happen when first released. Even later on, when updates were done, it didn't seem to work that way. Now, one problem I do have, which even was in Warhammer 1, the first one, that is still in Warhammer 2, is when rebellions occur, you have this issue of, now, they just seem to have better units. Sometimes units, if they're of your same faction, let's say you had Skaven, and you had a rebellion of Skaven army, they seem to have units that you cannot recruit. But yet they have them. Or they have higher tier units. Some of them even the highest tier, but yet you're still on tier 1 or tier 2 units. It makes no sense. And the same thing happened in Warhammer 1. And it's something that makes absolutely no sense for them to have. I can understand maybe if you can't recruit Cav, maybe they have a Cav unit. But a tier 1 Cav unit. Or something like that. But the fact that it would have such heavy duty units sometimes, it would seem, made no sense when you can't even close to that type of units, those weapons, anything like that. Hell, even some artillery you can't even get yet, sometimes the rebels would have. And it made no sense. It makes none. And that's just something I wish would change. Because I don't even think other Total War games had that. And it makes no sense in my opinion. But besides that, all in all, I really enjoy this game. And I think it's a very good game. Done well. Built well and all. Now, there are a lot of people wondering where the next historical Total War title is. And for those of you that are probably thinking, where is this? I don't give a damn about this game. Give it a shot. The Total War historical side will happen again. They are working on it. They even mentioned that they're working on it. And their team is working on it. Also, something that just came out is a new campaign for Total Warhammer 2. And if you had both Total Warhammer 1 and 2, you get this campaign for free. It is called the Mortal Empires. Pretty much what that does, which is great, is combining both the maps into one, and you can now play with all the factions. With almost, I want to say, 27 to 30 factions, if I remember correctly, into one large map, which is phenomenal. I love it. I played a little bit of it already myself. I think it's done well. The only thing I have a problem with is I kind of wish that with that, I would have changed up some of the story bits for like the Empire the Empire of Man and the orcs or something like that, changed it up and made me recognize, hey, this world is here now. Now that may change and may happen later on, but the Mortal Empire ones or the Mortal Campaign ones, pretty much it seems just combining the two games into one. Because once that happened, I noticed I no longer have Total War Warhammer, but I have Total War Warhammer 2. So basically it means they took the two games and put it in one, and they've actually, by doing that, fixed the issue of the arcadey look a little bit and the clash of armies, which is a good thing. All in all, both campaigns seem great. It seems like a lot of fun. Warhammer 2, in my opinion, is a very well done game, very well thought out. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is the rebellions that needs to be worked on, or something's got to change there. It makes no sense for rebels to have units that your army themselves cannot even recruit, especially if they're extremely high tier units, which sometimes it does occur. Such as was playing on my Dark Elves campaign for video, and I run into an army. Now, for Dark Elves, when you have a rebellion, it's a Chaos Army. Chaos Army has a lot of heavy duty units. They had some of the higher tier units in that maybe 15, 20 turns in, something like that, which made no sense. And I don't understand. And I had almost a full stack army, if I remember correctly. And that's about, for what I played on, 1,500 to 2,000 units. And they had maybe 600 something units to 1,000. But yet they were able to wipe out my army because of those higher tier units, which was extremely aggravating. But that's, I guess, probably my biggest pet peeve of the game. And something that maybe creatively can change, work on, if they don't do it in this, at least in the third installment of this. But anyways, let me know your thoughts of the game down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think the next historical title will be, and all in all, what you think of Total War in general. And until next time, I'll see all you other people on the next stream or video. And you know what, I might start just saying something I try and say every once in a while in the stream at the end of my videos, and pretty much is kick some ass, take some names, and play more games. Until then, bye everybody. Bye guys.